Good morning and welcome to the entrepreneurial journey. This morning we have a couple of great guests here. We have Beth with Abundant Life, and we have Pastor Dave Lundquist with us this morning. And so it's always my favorite episode of the month is when we have one of our guests on board. And Abundant Life is a great organization that focuses on pro-life, and I'm a big pro-lifer, and I think that's a good thing. And I really think that on the entrepreneurial journey, as you build your business or build your career or whatever that looks like, is that really giving back is such an important piece of that. And so the thing is that when you give back and you come alongside these incredible organizations like Abundant Life and Beth, you really get to see the humanity and you really get to see the good works. And one of the things I like to say is if you're trying to build that $1 million business, if you're trying to put that together, what are you passionate about outside of work? What are you passionate about that someone can come alongside and really love? What is a purpose bigger than your business? And I really love that about what it is. And I love one thing that Beth told me, and she said, we are about a woman in need. And I thought that was really just a powerful line. And, a woman in need. Wow. And so what does that look like? Sometimes that's adoption. Sometimes that's support. Maybe that's a conversation. Maybe it's a pack of diapers when you don't have any diapers. But I can only think of my own life growing up, and that I didn't really appreciate what my mom and dad did for me until I had kids. And then when I had kids, I was like, oh, geez, they were up all night. And oh, man, they were worried about me every time I was sick. And oh, man, I was up all night crying. And oh, geez, I fell down and got hurt and they were worried. And it's just like it becomes, I really felt like in life, it brought the whole thing full circle. Like having kids brings life full circle, because now you get to see the other side of life. And now you have a whole new appreciation, a whole new joy, and a whole new reason for being. And so the amazing thing about Abundant Life is they bring those babies to life, and they bring them to care, and they bring them sometimes to parents who maybe couldn't have had a baby. Maybe through adoption, they couldn't have had a child. And so some people can experience the joy of having a child, even if they couldn't do so, reproductively. So it's an amazing organization, an amazing way to change a life. And I just love that we have the ability and the opportunity to come alongside amazing organizations that fit into our mission, which is change the world. And that's what it's all about. And so we're honored and privileged to be able to share and connect with Beth and Pastor Dave, and really just, learn a little bit about what Abundant Life does, and learn a little bit about, what their mission is. So thank you for being on the call, and I appreciate your patience for my long-winded intro.
Oh, thank you for welcoming me, David and Dave. It has just been an honor to partner with you guys these last months, and just to learn more about how God has called you to undergird so many of us that are called to this work. I mean, we can't do what we do without businessmen that are passionate about the cause. So thank you for your willingness to bring me
You're
on
welcome.
and share a little more of the story.
That's awesome. Well, good morning, Beth. Hey, why don't you just give us a little history on Abundant Life, how it started, how you got involved? Maybe share with us a little bit about your family as well. Just kind of give us the 10,000 foot level of Abundant Life.
Yeah, I would love to. You can't really share anything without sharing about my husband and my kids. So thank you for that invitation. It's hard to keep quiet about that. I'm with you, Dave, that having family motivates me more and more at every stage that my kids are in to do this work. So met and married my husband just out of high school, and we were worship leaders for many years. And then he actually started a business. So he's an entrepreneur himself. He's a photographer in the area for these last 13 years. And so that gives our family a lot of flexibility. And that has allowed us to pursue the callings in many ways that God put on our life. So we saw ourselves as pastors, and God changed that direction, but we couldn't have anticipated the beautiful things that he's done through the business and through this ministry. So We started our family about 5 years after we got married. We've got 3 kids. I've got a 14-year-old Ella, 10-year-old Keegan, our only son, and then Finley came along many years later, and she's just 4. So we kind of have the whole spread of elementary, middle school, and high school. So that's an adventure, and we're enjoying that very much. And the kids are very involved in business and ministry because that's how our family gets to run. We homeschool them as well, and so we are kind of all in with all the things, and really enjoy spending a lot of time together. As far as the ministry goes, we started just about 7 years ago, and this ministry was birthed out of sidewalk outreach. So a team of us were out, our mentor and board VP were out doing outreach actually outside of Planned Parenthood in Everett, which sounds crazy to a lot of people. I thought it was when I first heard it, but it isn't the caricature of what most people imagine pro-life outreach is. No shouting, no screaming, no anger, just love and resources. And hey, how can we help you? Because oftentimes these women go to these places of darkness with the sense that they have no other choice. So we wanted to go out and offer the hope of Jesus and the help of the local church. And that's what we started to do. And we realized pretty quickly that when we have a woman in front of us who has a variety of needs that I could only have imagined before that point, we do have wonderful pregnancy centers in our communities that can help, but there's often more things that she needs. It's not a one-stop shop. She needs housing. She needs transportation help. She needs job training. She needs childcare. She needs emergency housing. I mean, there's a lot of needs that she came with, and we didn't know where to send her. So we decided if we couldn't figure it out that we needed to go and bring those resources together and find out who they were. So we started to network with organizations in 2016. We started with a monthly networking meeting with 5 different people from 3 organizations. And just this week, tomorrow, we launch our 4th regional meeting in Washington State with about 50 to 100 ministry leaders every month coming together from across Washington State that are doing pro-life gospel-centered work. So we're wanting to bring them together. We want to know who they are. We want to be able to help the pregnancy center to refer to the housing program, to refer to the support group, to refer to the transportation help. Many of these moms need all of these things, not just one of them. Sure. To get on their feet, find a sustainable income, and become independent and confident in who they are as a family. Talk about empowering women, right? I mean, we're often treated as if we don't want women to be empowered. And yet there are so many amazing believers across the state that are committed to doing that work and helping these moms. So that's what we've been doing for the last 7 years. And in the midst of that, we actually launched our own branch of the ministry because we found that there was no regular transportation help for these moms. We would have these networking meetings and it would bubble up from each organization. We have a mom that needs help with a car. We have a mom that doesn't have a car. We have a mom with a broken down car. She can't get to work, can't get her rent paid, and things are going to crumble. And so in 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, which was exciting, we launched the Abundant Life Auto Clinic out of Arlington, and we have monthly services that we provide for our partner organizations. So we have 38 partner organizations that will refer their moms or families to our auto clinic, and we do brake jobs, oil changes, and inspections on the vehicles. And then we get the moms for an hour to 2 hours, give them a little gift bag for their kids. There's a playground and a wonderful events barn that they get to hang out in during that time, and just love on them and try and connect them to the other resources that they need, and just encourage them and be human beings and have conversations with these moms, invite them to church with us the next day, which often happens. So there's a lot more to that, but that's the 100-foot view. And we can get into more specifics if you like, but that's the heart of our ministry is really just advancing gospel-centered, life-affirming work. That's our mission. It's pretty broad.
The auto thing sounds crazy. What is, I mean, not crazy in a good way. Like, what is that? What is that? I mean, that just sounds amazing. So you guys have hooked up with an auto clinic, and they go in, and any repairs, any maintenance, anything that they need for their cars is just done for free.
Yeah. So we have a volunteer mechanic that got connected to us through, it was just a God story. He talked to our board president the day before one of our board meetings and said, I have just felt called for like the last year to help moms, single moms that might be, in a tough spot, might consider abortion because they're just up against a wall. And I really want to help them, but I don't know what to do. I'm just a mechanic. Like, I don't know how to organize this. And we had our board meeting the next day, and I was just, lamenting that we have all these moms that need transportation help. So Matt and I connected that day, within 24 hours of him letting our board president know this. We hatched the plan to launch the auto clinic. Within a month we had launched it, but our board president has this beautiful property in Arlington. So we tell these moms, you come to this barn in Arlington, and we almost lose them. We have a video now so they can see what it looks like. They're like, I don't want to go to a barn in Arlington. What does that mean? Well, it's a beautiful events barn that he built out on his property. He actually has several professional grade lifts on his property. So the mechanics that come volunteer think they're going to be in somebody's driveway, and yet they've got these beautiful professional lifts and garages to work out of.
Wow.
Wow.
It's pretty remarkable that the Lord, put our board president in the middle of this, who has that property, and the lifts mechanic that felt called but didn't know how to organize it. My team, who loves spreadsheets and scheduling and connecting people, and so we had the moms, and he just needed to get the flow going. So he's had a team of volunteers. I think we have 12 to 15 volunteers every month, and most of them come every month because they love it so much. I mean, the environment is just
Wow.
remarkable. They love being there. We have some very dedicated mechanics. We're going on our third year in May. In just a couple of weeks, we'll hit 3 years. We can't get them to stop coming. We'll be like, you need a break. We don't want to burn you out. Like, why don't you rotate out this next month? And they'll show up anyway because they want to be there.
Wow.
They just enjoy it so much.
That is
So
awesome.
yeah, there's a video that'll show you a little bit more of the grounds and just kind of what I'm talking about, because it sounds crazy. But when the Lord, gives us vision, he gives us provision. And we've just been blown
Sure.
away. Within a month, we had all the things we needed to launch us. Of course, we've, made it a lot better over the 3 years. We've worked with other auto clinic ministries across the nation to get ideas and make sure we're doing everything well, and everybody's safe and happy. But it's a really great arm of our ministry, and it was so needed.
So how many moms get serviced, at the auto clinic?
I think we have as many as 16 available slots, and it just depends on how many brake jobs we have versus oil changes, because the brake jobs obviously take a lot more time.
Sure.
So yeah, as many as 16 families, and I think we're creeping up on 14. Let's see, in 3 years we are creeping up on 400 families served through those.
Wow.
Through those 3 years. So we do have some repeat, they come back for their oil. We get to build relationship because they're, ongoing, maybe in a 2-year housing program, something like that. If somebody has graduated or they're done using the service of that nonprofit, we'll still serve them, in the future as well, where it's not like a one and done thing. We encourage them to come back. But the other great thing is that if in the inspection, it is discovered that there is a deeper issue with the car, we try and keep it to the very simple stuff at the clinic itself. Then we have grants available so that we can get them to a reputable mechanic and get some of those, deeper issues fixed that we don't have the time to do at the monthly
Sure.
clinic. So we work with our partners really closely on that. There's great accountability, which is something that can be kind of scary for a nonprofit or a donor. Is how are you vetting these people? And these are all individuals that are already being served with and working towards sustainability in their own life. So it really takes a lot of the, fear and concern out of the event, is that we know who these people are coming from. We know who they're working with. You trust them and their referrals. And so it's been a real blessing as well.
It's a great way to build that pro-life ecosystem that you talked about as well, because you guys work together. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I think, to me, that's really powerful, because we all get siloed. It's really easy for us to be able to do my thing, and this is my thing, and we don't take the time to go see what somebody else is doing. And sometimes the cross is needed, and you guys are really, I think, what I've seen, experts at building bridges from ministry to ministry to ministry to be able to build that ecosystem of care.
Well, thank you, Pastor David. I mean, I think it's been just a huge blessing in my life to get to know so many of these faithful people that are called to these different areas. If you're a Christian like me, we look at this as the body of Christ. There's many different parts. They have different purposes. None is greater than the other. And we have to be looking for, acknowledging, and, it's trying to speak life and encouragement into each of those parts. I'd love to share a couple stories, because I think, for me, it doesn't really, you can talk all day, but it doesn't really mean anything until it comes down to real life. And we've had a couple really neat things happen just within the last month. I think, David, you guys are also familiar with Lifehouse Ministries as well, correct?
Sure.
Yeah, you work with Lifehouse. So Lifehouse is, one of our longtime partners. I think one of our first partners, actually. And we just found out that they're working really closely with a housing program in Bellevue that we're also connected to, Providence Heights. Providence Heights is all about getting moms kind of to that next level of entrepreneurship. So it's kind of a perfect tie into this podcast, that they want these moms to be able to have the confidence and courage to go out on their own and build businesses. And so they kind of walk alongside them in that process. Well, they just recently had one of the leadership staff from Providence Heights come and speak at Lifehouse Ministries, which is a support group for women as they're kind of growing, and they do a lot of life skills and Bible studies and just build community every week. So you have crossover between these two organizations where they're coming in and they're encouraging one another. And then I found out they're doing a special event, and they're actually going to be hiring one of the moms that is building her business through Providence Heights, because they've all become connected through our community and our regular meetings, to come in and cater and be a part of this event. And so they're finding ways to support ongoing, you know, and do that crossover so that they can continue to learn from each other and undergird each other. And you just see the snowball effect in the lives of those who are leading the ministries, who are often underpaid, understaffed. It's you know, it's tough work. Nonprofit work is tough work. To be able to just really spur each other on in the work that they're doing. So you've got kind of twofold in what we do. Obviously, we're extremely concerned about mom and family, and we work directly with some clients. Most of what we do is in this community building aspect that you're talking about, David. And I think that for the pregnancy clinics, let's use that as an example. Most people are aware of pregnancy clinics. If you're not, go look up Pregnancy Resource Clinic or Care Medical in Mount Vernon, or Whatcom County Pregnancy Clinic, or Whidbey Island Women's Clinic. They're all over Washington State doing amazing work. And I think oftentimes we look at them as if they're the final solution, and they're just sitting there trying to do what they're first and foremost, their mission in medical care and parenting classes and other things that they offer. And the networking piece has taken 5 staff members for Abundant Life, you know, across Washington State, just to get this connectivity going. These are, you know, people that are solely dedicated to reaching out, connecting to these organizations, vetting them, making sure they'd be good partners, and then connecting them. We can't necessarily expect another organization who has so much on their plate with their own mission to keep that moving forward. So that's really a big part of our calling, is just to be that connector, to be that hub. And then we see a lot of encouragement, you know, come out of that. One other story that's related to the auto clinic, that's a pretty cool one, is we do work with a sidewalk outreach team down actually, they're all over Western Washington. And they had a mom who felt that her back was against the wall, ended up at an abortion clinic, and called them from within the abortion clinic because she'd been given a card because someone told her that they thought maybe they could help her with her rent. And so they got connected to her. She chose life that day and went home, and we started having meetings with her and trying to figure out, okay, what's your situation? How can we help you move forward? Hey, by the way, we have an auto clinic. Do you want to come and we'll just meet there? You can get your car, your oil changed in your car and get it inspected. It was a new to her car that she was concerned about. And we just gathered around her and we helped her map out a plan for her future. And we prayed and we cried. And it was extremely emotional because she felt like she had been so alone since she came to this country. She was an immigrant and she didn't have any help and didn't have community. And suddenly there was this, you know, this table of people around her that were advocating for her, that were telling her that she wasn't going to be alone and that we could do this together. When our mechanic came to give her her keys and kind of give her the rundown on what was the story with her car, we also give gas cards to these moms that show up because sometimes they're having to travel from a bit depending on what partner organization they're coming from. And she just broke down and started crying. And we're like, oh, that's an unusual response. What's going on? And she, through the tears, told us that she had come that day trusting that the Lord was going to take care of her, but she didn't know how she was going to get home. She didn't have enough gas. And that she just saw the Lord going before her over and over and over again through all these different organizations that we were partnering with, working alongside her, and that she had the confidence that she wasn't alone. So of course, our mechanic, being a big softie, he doesn't know what to do. There's a woman crying and he's feeling like, I need to help her. So he runs out and gets permission from somebody that he knows to go fill up her tank with gas so she doesn't even have to use the gas card yet, because he just was so for her. It was so beautiful. But yeah, I mean, this is it really what it is. It's very simple. It's really about relationship. And I think so much when you talk about nonprofits, you know, oh, the great work that they do. So, but it's all relationship building. We care about these women. We want to walk alongside them and their families. And the pro-life movement gets a bad rap, and it's frustrating because I get to see all of these amazing individuals who are pouring their lives out for moms like the one that I'm talking about, and really coming alongside her and giving up their Saturday to go and be with her and help her know that she's not going to be alone. And it's a beautiful thing. It's been so faith building for me to get to be a part of and to see.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
that is amazing. That I think that's just that's an amazing thing. So you said you guys have been doing this for 7 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
7 years.
That's right.
So what are some of the other? You mentioned Lifehouse. You mentioned the auto clinic. What are some of the other things that you guys partner with, or what are some of the other groups you're connected to?
Programs. Yeah, so I'll kind of go through the different. We've got sort of 6 spokes of things that we identified as the real problem areas that would kind of hinder a mom from or family from being able to move forward and find that stability and sustainability. So obviously pregnancy care clinics are a huge one. We partner, I just mentioned like 4 of them. We also partner with Next Step, who I think you guys are connected to as well,
Yeah, we
in
love that.
Linwood. Yeah, they are fantastic. Again, one of our longest partners. Wonderful, wonderful ladies over there. So, the pregnancy care clinic is often step number one. And then from there, we're trying to help pregnancy clinics decide, well, what's the next best step for many of these moms. We're kind of a funnel in some ways. So we work with several adoption programs within the state. And this is something that I get really excited to share because not a lot of people know about this. But you think about adoption, and even from the opposition, we hear all the time that we're like trying to traffic babies, basically, is the way that they will pose it. I don't even want to give that much airtime, but we're like, that's a strange thing to say. But you look at adoption, and sometimes adoption can be extremely expensive. In the state, it averages anywhere between $30,000 and $80,000 for a domestic adoption. That is a lot of money, right? I mean, that's astounding. However,
Crazy.
we live in a state where God gave a man, Ken Hutcherson of Antioch Bible Church, a vision to start an adoption agency that does not exchange money for children. And I can't say enough about this organization and what they do and how they're formed. A lot of what they do is foster to adopt. So children who are about to have their parental rights terminated and are eligible for adoption, as opposed to the traditional foster care, model is to reunite, child and parent. These are the children that are about to have their rights, their parents' rights terminated because of drug abuse or other issues going on in the family. So that was kind of how they started, was we need to get these foster kids into forever homes. And they did have infant adoption some time ago. But when we connected with them, we had just seen one of our adoption agencies in the state close, and we knew we were going to need more resources for these moms. And so they actually relaunched their infant adoption program, and it's the same story. So infant adoption or foster to adopt are no cost. There are some fees, just minor fees for legal stuff, because you have to still use the lawyers. But really, for the most part, it's a no fee adoption. And on top of that, they're helping with trauma informed care, because many of these kids that are coming out of the foster system to be adopted are coming out of some really hard backgrounds and hard stories, and they're going to need extra support in how to help this child navigate the transition into this forever home. So we have 2 actually within the state that operate with this same type of model. The other one is Adoption Advocates, and that's Leanne Wolbert. She works down south. So she's actually been doing some cross training with Antioch Adoptions as they're relaunching their infant adoption program. And so there's another collaboration that is just, these organizations that have done this for so many years can sharpen each other and help each other do what they do better. And I'm all about that. I hate the reinvention of the wheel. If somebody's doing it and they've been doing it for 25 years, why are we going out and launching a new ministry? Or if that is what God's calling us to do, why are we not relying on those who have done it for so long to be our cheerleaders and our trainers and teachers? And I think there's a humility that we have to be open to that. So adoption, I mean, in our state, this is one of the only state in 50 states that has anything like this, no fee adoption. So if you're a Christian and you're living, or anybody, a pro-lifer who's living in Washington, and people are, lodging complaints at you because you're not caring for the kids in the foster system, or you haven't adopted enough children, get to know Antioch Adoptions and hear some of the stories, and you'll know that's not true. It can be further from the truth. It's beautiful to see the work that they're doing. So Adoption Services, Antioch, we just started partnering with Lifeline Children's Services in Spokane, where we're launching tomorrow. We're going to have a kind of an east side of the mountains group now. The next one, we partner with medical programs, so Christian, medical services. So this goes outside of pregnancy to things like dental care, chronic illness care, and regular clinics like that. So they used to be called Puget Sound Christian Clinic. Now they're called Lehigh Medical out of Linwood. Are a wonderful, wonderful medical ministry. They've got mobile units that go to churches across the Pacific Northwest, and a state-of-the-art dental center. Amazing. Dave Eller, their director, is just a dear friend and a wonderful man. So, you've got a mom and she lives with maybe her parents or even her grandma, and she's got needs. We want to be looking after the whole family unit. What is she underinsured or uninsured? And can we help the grandma or the mother, of this pregnant person to be able to, pregnant woman, to be able to get what they need to have stability in the family? So there's a lot of reasons. Or the husband or boyfriend or partner of the woman that's pregnant, does he have medical needs that are not being met, and can we plug him in somewhere? Safe Harbor Free Clinic is another one up in Stanwood. That's a wonderful Christian ministry that is serving the medical needs of their community. So Compassion Washington is another partner we have down south in the Puyallup and Tacoma area that does clinics, and they've been serving a lot of immigrants. They're working with a pretty large population from the Congo and from Afghanistan after the influx of some of those refugees, and so they serve many people through their outreach events as well. We talked about the auto clinic. I don't want to belabor that. It's, one of my favorites, but whatever, we can we can skip over that for now. We've got many support groups that we work with, and that, a lot of women that I have met that are walking this road have really tough backgrounds. They've got a lot of baggage. They've had domestic violence in their past. They've been trafficked sometimes, and so working through those things is going to be really important to them finding their footing and healing and growing past that. So we've got a ministry called Healing Hearts that is a post-abortive resource. There are a lot of women who have an abortion. They're told this is going to be a quick fix and then it'll be over and you're not going to ever have to think about it again. And yet it haunts them for 30, 40, 50 years if they don't deal with it and find forgiveness and healing. So that's a hugely vital one that we advocate for. Teen pregnancy is something that isn't talked about a ton anymore, it seems like. And Young Lives is a ministry that has clubs, monthly clubs for teen moms, yearly summer camps, so they can go and kind of reclaim a little bit of their childhood and have a camp experience with some extra childcare and people rallying around them and loving on them. And just ongoing support for that, very difficult journey that a teen mom might face. They're one of the only ones that I know of in the state that actually walks alongside teen parents, moms and dads, not just moms, but the dads also in that situation. And then housing programs is obviously one of the most important. This is the last one. If it goes a little long when I go through all six, but we work with Acres of Diamonds out in Duval, a wonderful, very long-standing housing program. Not necessarily, we don't work with very many shelters because what we want for these women is a path forward. We want a way for them to grow beyond the situation that they're in, which includes a lot of things, life skills, job skills. A lot of the women that become pregnant are just out of the foster system. The statistics are staggering how many women become pregnant within 2 years of exiting the foster system and coming of age. And so a lot of them didn't have a lot of just basic life skill training. They don't know how to do loads of laundry. They don't know how to shop on a budget and cook for their families. And so they're given opportunities to do things like this. They don't know how to set boundaries in relationships. They don't know how to identify, domestic violence, things like that. And so they're given some very basic skills to be able to start to identify and do those things and build confidence and move forward. We work with New Way Ministries up in Linden all the way down to New Beginnings Homes in Puyallup, and just have amazing housing resources within our state for these moms.
So Beth, you guys have been key in dividing up the state and pulling all of these organizations together so that they network. Did I hear that you kind of oversee now 4 regions around the state? Is that right?
That is right. Yeah. So we've got Abundant Life North, we call it, which is Whatcom, Skagit, and Island County. And then we've got Abundant Life West, which is basically Snohomish and King. There's a lot of people in those counties, so we just kept it to 2. And then we've got Abundant Life South, which is Puyallup, Tacoma, Olympia, Gig Harbor, kind of those areas. And then we're just launching tomorrow Abundant Life East in Spokane. And we've got 5 ministries already that we're partnered with out there. We're gonna have a very full meeting already just for our first one. People are really hungry for community, and I think that's partly the reason that you guys do things like this. Is just people want to connect. They want, especially people that are in a nonprofit ministry, really need a safe space to come and talk about some of the hard things that they're facing. We have found that it's a bit of a support group. That's not necessarily what we launched it for, but I think it is very necessary. And so just, to love each other and give each other a safe space, and then allow that natural networking that happens.
What I love about what you guys do is that you not only create the relationship, but that you guys have been able to give a bridge to be able to share resources as well. I actually talked to Beth at New Life, and she says, yes, we've been able to share some of our fundraising decor with other organizations, and they kind of go around so that it doesn't have to be bought 12 times. It can actually be used more than once. And, just get strategies on things like fundraisers and just, all of those things which are so powerful. So, man, I just love what you guys do. And I love the power of creating this ecosystem to care for the most vulnerable of our society. So Beth, yay. Thank you for what you do. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, man. It's an honor to get to do it. It's an honor to get to share about so many of these organizations. I find that many people are unaware of them. And so I think a big part of my job is to be the mouthpiece for their organizations and get the word out, because it's really remarkable. In Washington State, the level of care that we have for a mom that might be facing an unexpected or unwanted pregnancy is staggering. She has resources in this state that are really beyond compare in many other places. And so that's something I'm really proud of this state for, and excited to continue to work to meet new ones, because there's new ones growing all the time, or just people I haven't heard of. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be in ministry and to serve these families together.
What's the biggest need that you guys have?
As a ministry ourselves,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely the auto clinic. We have had some really amazing support through the years to be able to offer these services free of cost. Obviously, the parts cost a fair amount. It's about $1,500 a month to run the auto clinic, which actually isn't too bad because we have the facilities covered and everything. So it's very doable. But several of our donors that helped us launch it actually passed away and then moved across the country. And so we are on the hunt for regular monthly support for the auto clinic. So that we then are freed up to have our regular, budget going into the grants and the other support for these moms that comes as a result of meeting them at the auto clinic and connecting them to other things. So we are definitely in need of people coming. If you go to our website, which is shared on the bottom of this screen, and to services and auto clinic, there's a video that kind of outlines what it's like, and you can see the property. And no, I'm not making it up. It's beautiful, and it's such a fun event. So if that is something that that people are interested in, there's a donate button on the right-hand screen of our website. They can sign up to be a monthly donor for the auto clinic. That would be an amazing way to support not only our ministry, but then that impacts 38 other ministries, because they've got these moms they're trying to work with that need reliable transportation. We also do facilitate car donations. I have a car that is in running order and might need some TLC. So if that's something that somebody is able to do, we love to be able to pass these cars along to these moms that are growing and moving towards good jobs.
Great. Well, here at Enbridge, we support you guys monthly because we believe in you. But Dave, what do you think about trying to do a matching grant for the auto clinic specifically?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's say that, anybody who gives through the Enbridge website, for the next, let's just call it 2 weeks. So, whatever that is, we'll match up to 3 months of support. So $1,500 a month for 3 months. And anybody who goes to the Enbridge website, donates, boom, throws it in there. We'll match up to that, and we'll make those donations on a monthly basis for 3 months. And hopefully, 3 other months will get covered, and hopefully you'll get 6 months of coverage out of it. Let's do something like that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, you guys. What an encouragement.
Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. Ralph, can you throw the Enbridge website up there so folks can see where that is, so that they can go in there and donate, and we can put that match together. So if you're interested in supporting this incredible organization, like we said, we'll match up to 3 months of their expenses. So go ahead, dive right in there and make those donations, and Lord willing, we'll be able to provide 6 months of support.
Yeah, okay.
That's amazing. I know that if anybody's ever, come from a place where transportation is a struggle, I think most people I know at some point in their life, transportation was a struggle. And so we can pretty much all relate to how desperate some of these moms must feel just trying to get on their feet and get reliable transportation. So thank you. That's huge.
Yeah, it's amazing what you guys do. We'll bring this in for a landing. Thank you so much for your time today. It was an honor to get to speak with you. Pastor Dave, as always, great to see you. And we'll be back next week, same time. If you like this, give it a share. If you like it, follow me on LinkedIn, David Wescott. Follow me on Facebook, David Wescott. You can find Dave Lundquist in either of these spaces. And I'm sure that, Beth, you might be on social as well.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook.
Find you on social media.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
All right.
God bless
Dave.
you guys. Thank you so